beautiful Saturday morning to our audience. It is your weekly news roundup on Atlantic TV with me, Omar Taal. We begin the news roundup with the gala protest where dozens of peaceful protesters calling on government for more affordable internet tariff had been arrested at the Pura headquarters at one of the country's business central district before facing trial at Kanifi Magistrate Court. Mayor Talib Ahmed Bensouda appears before the local commission of inquiry to give testimony on the administrative and financial dealing of his council, what later transpired to be a fiery exchange between the mayor and the lead council, Patrick Gomez. The United Democratic Party has accused Barrow administration of concealing the true extent of country's debt, drawing comparison to that of the former Senegalese President Macky Sall. The former executive director of Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, Dr. Baba Galle Jarrow, writes an open letter to President Barrow, reminding him about the ramifications of uprising that toppled his predecessors on the continent. On the international stories, the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has expelled the Iranian ambassador to Canberra over his anti-Semitic rhetoric in Sydney and Melbourne. The Trump administration has put plans to deport Kilma Abreko Gazia to Uganda after being detained by United States immigration in Maryland on Monday. Hamas reportedly accepted a 6-day ceasefire agreement and partial hostage release, while Israel saw no interest as it continues its bombardment of Gaza City. These are the news in summary. We now bring you in detail. The country has seen a massive wave of demonstration by concerned youth called Gala at the Pura headquarters, calling on Barrow administration to take action against internet hike on consumers and ensure fair and robust competition among service providers. The peaceful protest escalated to a fearsome crescendo when the police used force to disperse protesters. We have more in this report.
What was a peaceful demonstration at the Pura headquarters by young and innocent Gambians calling on government for fair and transparent competition among internet service providers in the Gambia. The welfare of customers, affordability of tariffs on the backdrop of Pura's decision in putting regulation on internet service providers that could see more expensive tariff for the customers in the Gambia. It turned chaotic with an unlawful arrest of the innocent citizen by the police force. The arrest came when the police tried to disperse these protesters of what the police described as unlawful assembly of Public Order Act. It was one of the latest incidents of Barrow administration for his uncompromising stance against peaceful assembly, which triggers an arrest of 29 young Gambians put under custody waiting for a trial. Outside the Kanifi Magistrate Court, a group of young determined youth engaged in sit-in strike for their fellow protesters who have been in remand at Mile 2 prison until September 4th as they vow would not back down without a fight. Reporting for Atlantic TV News, I am Mariama Kijera.
That was our very own reporter, Mariama Kijera, reporting on the standoff that took place between the police and the peaceful protesters at the Pura headquarters and Kanifi Magistrate Court. Appearing before the commission about KMC's adherence to financial manual in managing its financial operations, Mr. Bensouda responded that the manual serves as a guideline promoting best practice and that the council should comply with. At the height of the hearing, the commission highlighted that the broader financial system in the council are inadequate and hinder proper financial accounting. Let's hear more from this.
On subsection 2 of 43, that a chief executive shall, in the exercise of his or her functions, report to the chairperson. You have an overriding authority over the chief executive officer.
That is incorrect.
That's
the
okay.
mayor has no overriding authority on the CEO.
That's okay.
The CEO is accountable to the council, not the mayor.
That's all right.
Updates the mayor on his activities.
That's okay. We move on. So the idea that you are terming or taking the manual to be a policy document is not just correct, because you don't have the legal backing to suggest that the manual is just a policy document that you have a discretion to depart from.
It is a policy document. A council resolution can override the manual if it's based on law.
Where is it stated?
That's what I'm saying.
No, but where is it stated?
Where is it what?
Where do you base that?
It says.
Where?
Can you check section 173?
Of what?
Contempt of council.
Of what?
Of the Local Government Act.
Please read it.
Section 173.
Yes.
an act which obstructs or impedes a council in its performance or functions, or which obstructs or impedes a member or officer of the council in the discharge of his or her duties, or affronts the dignity of the council, or which tends either directly or indirectly to produce such a result, shall be contempt of council.
So it's the act.
The mayor,
Yes.
the mayor is answerable to the council.
Is the manual impeding the council?
And Madam Chairperson, if I may add, I think I have done the best thing ever. I had the ability to interfere in council operations, and we did not. We said, let this be on consensus. Let this be taken to competent experts through bodies. Let them recommend to the general body, and via a democratic process, agree on the way forward.
Let's go back to the issue, Mr. Bensouda. Mr. Bensouda, you are here to answer questions. Let's go back to the issue. The issue here is you have read the section you are talking about. Does the manual impede the acts of council?
Yes, the council results.
So the manual itself is the one that is impeded.
There's documents all the time created that contravene laws and
no. The word is not contravening. The word is not contravene. The word is not contravene. You said 173 or 2?
No, like I said, section 42, the manual contravenes it.
Did you say 173? 173 is what you said? An act which obstructs or impedes a council.
And popular political figure, Alhaji Dembo Bojang, has died overnight. Widely known as Dembo by Force, he has died at Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. He passed away at intensive care unit. Bojang was a veteran politician with decades of involvement in the public service. He is survived by 2 wives. He began his career as an evaluation officer at Ministry of Local Government before moving to Ministry of Agriculture, and entered politics in 1978 as a member of Parliament for Bakau under the National Convention Party (NCP). Following the lifting of ban on political parties, Bojang joined United Democratic Party, rising to become national president. He later carried the coalition 2016, which played a key role in ushering in the government of President Adama Barrow. He was subsequently appointed as religious affairs advisor to the president, and later aligned with National People's Party, distancing himself from opposition UDP and APRC parties. So another development where United Democratic Party has accused President Barrow's government of concealing the true debt of the country, drawing parallel with revolution that the former Senegalese leader Macky Sall hid over 7 billion in liabilities, a move that forced the IMF to suspend aid to Dhaka. UDP said despite the billions in loan and grants since 2017, Gambians are left with unfinished roads, underfunded schools, poorly equipped hospitals, and rising corruption and waste. The party is demanding full disclosure of all debts and grants, an independent audit and international scrutiny of Gambia's finances, warning that any official found guilty of misuse must face justice while vowing to hold Barrow administration accountable. The former executive director of Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, TRRC, has written a stern letter to President Barrow over the arrest of concerned youth, calling for an affordable tariff and fair competition among service providers in the country. The letter reads from Dr. Baba Galle Jallo: Mr. President, the main lesson we want to share with yourself and the Gambia Police Force is that the genuine stability and national security are never achieved through repression and the arrest of peaceful protesters. The well-being of the people and the country depends on your government's capacity to engage with the public grievances. Even if carried out in the name of law enforcement, repression generates widespread public anger, erodes public trust in government, and weakens government legitimacy, deepens social polarization, and in general represent a highly dangerous potential for national instability. It is not us versus them, says the Minister of Finance, Sidi Keita, this morning, where he was deliberating on government's position with the Gala movement. The Finance Minister highlighted government's readiness in collaboration with the movement and the Gambia public in solving problems. He further pointed out government successes in tackling corruption through the report of Corruption Perception Index of the Transparency International, calling it a scorecard and highlighted GRA's unprecedented tax collection achievement in 2025, drawing parallel to what had been collected in 2022. Let's hear more from the Finance Minister, Sidi Keita, this morning.
Emphasize that this is not us versus them. It's a collective responsibility. The action that has been taken by Gala is in the furtherance of public service delivery and to enhance accountability. And your queries have been adequately attended to. That's why you have almost half of cabinet here. And this is just a, but there was a lot of work that went into responding appropriately to the queries raised. I will indulge your patience because the questions deserve commensurate response, and the statement will be a bit prolongated, but that's just for the interest of time to emphasize the amount of work that went into this. And the statement is as follows. The government of the Gambia's reaction to the petition from the Gambia against looted assets relating to corruption cases, transparency and accountability in public financial management and governance reforms. We thank you for your presence and your continued interest in the country's progress towards transparency, accountability, and sound economic management. This press conference is organized on the heels of the peaceful protests staged by Gambians against looted assets on the 23rd of July 2025. And the government received the petition in good faith, and as a responsible and responsive government, we are alive to the call made by the citizen seeking to safeguard our shared resources, thereby a call for public accountability and institutional integrity in the management of public resources. The Gala movement raised 3 issues to the government, and these are: 1, implementation of the parliamentary inquiry report, recommendations on the importation and sale of petroleum products valued at $30 million. 2,
The deliberation by Finance Minister Sidi Keita brings us to the end of the national storage, where he was deliberating on government's position and its readiness to work with the Gala movement, and give a brief synopsis about government's position in tackling corruption under Barrow administration. We now move to the international stories, where the Australian authorities on Tuesday has taken a very consequential decision by expelling the Iranian ambassador to Canberra, accusing him of directing anti-Semitic attack in Sydney and Melbourne last year. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese had reached a deeply disturbing conclusion through credible intelligence that found Iranian government had directed at least 2 attacks against Australia's Jewish community. Tehran fires back and said it absolutely rejected Australia's accusation regarding the attacks and noted that the claim had come after Australia had directed its criticism at Israel. More from Prime Minister Albanese of Australia.
I gathered enough credible intelligence to reach a deeply disturbing conclusion that the Iranian government directed at least 2 of these attacks. Iran has sought to disguise its involvement, but ASIO assesses it was behind the attacks on the Lewis Continental Kitchen in Sydney on October 20 last year and the Adass Israel Synagogue in Melbourne on December 6 last year. ASIO assesses it is likely Iran directed further attacks as well. These were extraordinary and dangerous acts of aggression orchestrated by a foreign nation on Australian soil. They were attempts to undermine social cohesion and sow discord in our community. A short time ago, we informed the Iranian ambassador to Australia that he would be expelled. We have suspended operations at our embassy in Tehran, and all our diplomats are now safe in a third country. I can also announce the government will legislate to list Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, as a terrorist organisation.
That was Prime Minister Anthony Albanese of Australia after expelling the Iranian ambassador to Canberra. We now move to the United States, where Kilma Abreko Garcia is facing a potential deportation to Uganda after he has been arrested in Baltimore, Maryland by the Trump administration on Monday. Garcia was wrongly deported to El Salvador in March before being brought back to the United States to face charges. He sought asylum in America after fleeing violence in his home country of El Salvador, but became face of Trump administration as a gun leader and terrorist. More from Washington, managing editor Catherine Folders.
Tonight, the lawyers for Kilmar Abrego Garcia say the Trump administration is trying to force him to accept a plea deal by threatening to deport him to Uganda. His attorneys allege the government is trying to coerce him after Abrego Garcia refused an offer to be deported to Costa Rica in exchange for remaining in jail and pleading guilty to human smuggling charges. It comes just one day after Abrego Garcia, who was wrongfully deported in March, was released from federal custody in Tennessee and reunited with his family in Maryland. He is facing human smuggling charges stemming from a 2022 traffic stop in Tennessee. Abrego Garcia seen driving an SUV with 9 other people inside. The government has accused him of being part of a human smuggling operation that transports drugs, weapons, and thousands of undocumented migrants, allegedly including MS-13 gang members and children across the country.
How many rolls have you got in here? 4?
He's hauling these people for money. You got an collar is what he's doing.
Abrego Garcia denies all allegations. His case became a flashpoint in Trump's aggressive immigration policies after Abrego Garcia was mistakenly deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador. At the time, the president and the White House adamant he was a gang member.
Is an illegal alien MS-13
That report by
gang
Washington
member.
managing editor Catherine Folders, where he was reporting about Trump administration's position in deporting Chilma Abrego Garcia to Uganda. Hamas has announced it has submitted a positive response to the mediators about the current ceasefire and hostage exchange release proposal on the table. The deal comes more than 20 months into the conflict and more than 3 months after a previous deal ended. Prime Minister Netanyahu's office addressed Hamas' response to the ceasefire proposal on the table, saying in a statement, the changes Hamas are requesting to make are unacceptable to Israel. We have more in this ABC News report by James Lomman.
Yeah, David, there's been a huge day of protests today in Israel. At least 350,000 people taking to the streets. Families of the hostages are angry that a deal to get them out has yet to materialize. Now, Hamas has reportedly accepted a 60-day pause and partial hostage release, but instead, Israel is pushing ahead with its plan for a military occupation of Gaza City. There are also growing questions tonight about that Israeli strike on Nasser Hospital that killed 20 people, including 5 journalists. Netanyahu initially called it a mishap. Now the IDF says a Hamas camera was seen at that location. There's still no explanation as to what prompted the second.
That report by ABC News, James Lomman, bring an end to today's news roundup. But before we go, let's give you a recap. Where Gala protesters have gathered at the Pura headquarters calling on government for a more affordable internet tariff. Mayor Bensouda and Patrick Gomez of local commission exchanged fiery exchanges about the financial dealings of the council. Prime Minister of Australia has expelled the Iranian ambassador to Canberra. The Trump administration put plans to deport Kilma Abrego Garcia to Uganda after being detained by the immigration officials on Monday. This brings us to the end of this news roundup. Join us more for interesting roundup next week. Bye.